Although President Trump's trial and his conviction are by far the highest profile area and case in which the administration of justice has been obviously politicized, the whole idea of politicizing, the principle that justice should not be politicized, that principle was sold down the river by Alvin Bragg a long time ago.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with Editor-in-Chief Hugo Gurdon. And Hugo, you wrote in a column this week about Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's approach to the Donald Trump case, and we'll get to the sort of specific political impact of the verdict in a minute. But first, what do you think are just the broader implications for the country as a whole?
Even people who don't like Donald Trump, who are aghast at the idea that he would become president again, even some of them acknowledged that the Alvin Bragg case was really quite a stretch, and that the proceedings in the court made the stretch even greater in that it looked to many people as though the judge were giving the jury a roadmap to conviction. It is, I think, extremely unlikely that having put forward a prosecution of this sort, which a lot of people, and I think I agree with them, believe was primarily motivated by politics. Mm-hmm. It is extremely naive to believe that we won't have political prosecutions again. Just the sort of headline words that you have to describe this case, which is the presumptive nominee for one party is being put on trial by an activist prosecutor from the other party who ran for election saying that he would nail that candidate. Mm-hmm. It has all sorts of the whiff of a banana state, which is the kind of thing which the United States should avoid like the plague.
Alvin Bragg upgraded misdemeanors that were barred by the statute of limitations into felonies for Donald Trump in a pretty novel way. And as you point out in your column, Bragg typically is in the business of downgrading felonies. So that is part of what makes this prosecution interesting, right?
Yes, it is. Alvin Bragg has downgraded 60% of felony crimes in Manhattan under in his time to misdemeanors. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are leaving New York. There has been an extraordinary upsurge in crime. So his general practice has been to politicize crime, downgrading to misdemeanors for ideological reasons and for political reasons and for racial reasons. What he did in the case of former President Trump is to do the reverse. So the point that I wanted to make is that although President Trump's trial and his conviction are by far the highest profile area and case in which the administration of justice has been obviously politicized, the whole idea of politicizing, the principle that justice should not be politicized, that principle was sold down the river by Alvin Bragg a long time ago.
And finally, let's turn to the political impact of this verdict. Obviously, it takes a few weeks for big events like this to really consistently show up in polls. But do you think that there will be enough voters who say, I simply can't bring myself to cast a ballot for an elected felon, to overcome what we are seeing as a surge in first-time donors and potentially newly activated Trump voters?
Right, yeah. Now, I think that the Democratic calculation is exactly that. Mm-hmm. Although probably the majority, even a considerable majority of people, recognize that this was a prosecution absolutely motivated for political reasons and will be outraged by that. And this, of course, stimulates massive donations. I believe that the Trump campaign took in $53 million in the first 24 hours after the conviction. There probably is a marginal fraction of voters who simply say, if he has been convicted, I cannot vote for him. If he has been convicted, since he has been convicted, he surely did something wrong. And I think that that's the Democratic calculation. If you can peel off a sufficient number of voters of that sort, then you can help Biden to victory.
Well, Hugo, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more writing from Hugo and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.